back in the UK.
Yes.
A bit of a whirlwind tour for you. How's the reception been since you've been home? It's been non-stop for you, as I understand.
Yes, it really has been non-stop since I won the fight, which is fantastic. I'm not complaining, first world problems, as they say. It's been nuts though, it really has. My phone hasn't stopped going. I haven't stopped doing interviews or doing this or doing that and requests, and but it's a good problem to have. It really is. So it's nice to be back here in England, of course. Had a crazy time in Manchester. The people were happy to see me there, which blew my mind. It really did. We did a signing at the Trafford Centre, and no exaggeration, I would say roughly, I don't know, I'm guessing, but I'd say around 20 of the people that I spoke to that day told me that they cried when I won, and they just, I was like, really? You're this emotionally invested in my fighting? It just blew my mind, it really did.
And have you had an opportunity, obviously, you had that World Championship win, you had all the euphoria, and then almost straight away you're whisked back home to do all this. Have you had a chance to actually just sit down, put your feet up, maybe watch the fight back and think, wow, look what I've achieved?
I've certainly watched the fight back many times. I'm not going to lie. It's certainly a good way to brighten up my day, But I haven't had much time to sit and relax. But still, it's still kind of surreal. Of course it's sunk in. I know it happened, but it's I almost can't believe it.
Yeah, and obviously you've had a very strong support network around you. You've had your family, and you talked at length after the fight about the support of the British fans. One person I wanted to ask you about was Jason Parillo.
Yes.
This is a guy who sort of came to you sort of partway through your career and has seemingly, from the outside at least, completely transformed you as a fighter, not just in terms of how you actually perform inside the octagon, but mentally as well. Tell us a bit about his influence on you over the last few years.
Yeah, I started working with Jason, when was it, 2012 I believe, so about 4 or 5 years ago. Of course he's a tremendous boxing coach, that goes without saying, that's his speciality. Jason was an incredible boxer, he was an undefeated boxer, and he had some medical problems and had to retire, unfortunately. But that guy he's only a little man, but you want to see that guy punch, it's quite terrifying. So the guy knows how to punch, that's for sure. Of course he's a great coach and he's a great natural leader, so he's got many great qualities which you need as a coach. But for me, the main thing he's really helped me with is the mental aspect of the fight game. Of course we have tremendous physical training sessions, but at the end of the training sessions a lot of our best work is done when we're sitting there and I'm cooling down and I'm stretching, and he'll talk to me for an hour at a time, and I'm hanging on every word of what he says, and he really does mentor me and talks to me about the emotions of the fight game and calms me down, but also reminds me, just of the fact that I deserve to be there, but to handle those emotions, and so like for example, I remember one day I pulled up outside the gym and he was waiting for me. And I said, hey, how you doing? He said, yeah, listen, you got 4 or 5 guys in there all waiting to spar you. He said, they're all good guys. He said, you're top 5 in the world. He said, can you go in there and act like that, please? I don't want you going in there, losing your temper, doing this, doing that. Control the situation. You're better than all these people. They all want to be you. They all want to be where you are right now. You should be going in there. You should be happy. You shouldn't be letting the pressure get to you. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy this situation. Kind of just the same way with this fight. UFC 199. He said to me, he said, Mike, we've only got 2 weeks. He said, but let's enjoy these 2 weeks. He said, how often are you going to fight for the belt? Do you want to go through it stressed out and and this and that? No, you want to enjoy it. Relish this time. You're going to win this thing. You're going to be world champion. Enjoy the process. And it's good advice.
You talked a bit about the fact it was a very different approach to the fight. Very short notice, almost like it was like a crash course training camp rather than a full 8 weeks.
Sure. And
I know during the build up to the fight, you were really pushing that and saying how good you felt in the lead up. Given the success you had and the things you were saying, obviously potentially some of that may have been partly to sort of portray something to loot. But your next fight, How are you going to approach that? Are you back to 8 weeks, or are you gonna sort of trim it down to 4 or 6? I mean, how are you approaching it?
Yeah. So it's a good question, and to answer it, I don't really know. At the start of me saying, listen, I'm still in shape now, I wasn't sure if I truly believed it. But, I only trained really hard for 1 week, because it was 2 weeks, but one of those weeks, you're at the fighter hotel and you're doing the media obligation. So really, I only had 1 hard week of training. But the sparring was going great. I was getting through 5-5s really well. I felt like I'd done a whole training camp, but I felt stronger and more explosive because I hadn't, put myself into the ground training 2-3 times a day for 8 weeks, and I really did feel better. So I am going to learn from that for sure, and I'm going to try and repeat that. I say every single training camp, I always say, I'm never going to overtrain this time. I'm going to take it easy, and then I still end up overtraining because it means so much to me. But no, for sure, there's no way I'm doing an 8-week camp. What I'll do is, since the fight, I've enjoyed myself a little bit. I think I've earned that. But I'll go home and I'll be back to being disciplined, eating well, training, ticking over, which is what you have to do as a martial artist and a fighter and a professional athlete. I'll treat myself. I'll treat my body like that. But then maybe a month out, really ramp things up.
And the next fight obviously is a huge one for you. I know you said winning the belt is one thing, but you won't consider yourself a full champion until you've defended the first time. Do you have a preference? I know you probably had this question 1,000,001 times.
Sure.
People are queuing up. Chris Weidman wants a shot.
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold wants a rematch. Dan Henderson has been mentioned as a potential revenge match for UFC 100. Even GSP's people are apparently interested in this fight. Do you have a preference?
Well, Chris Weidman needs to stop getting on like a little girl that had his toys taken off him, because at the end of the day, he lost the fight to Luke Rockhold. He got destroyed, pardon me, I'm sorry about that. He got destroyed by the guy that I just knocked out cold in 3 minutes, and he's saying that I'm scared of him.
That was Chris Weidman, by the way.
That was Chris, yeah. I have no idea who that is. But he's getting on like a little girl, he really is, and he needs to just calm down and just realise, listen, I didn't hurt your neck. I'm not the reason you pulled out of the fight. I'm not the reason Luke Rockhold beat the crap out of you. I'm not the reason you haven't got the belt right now. But the fact is, I have got the belt, and he's bitter about that. He needs to go and win a fight. When he wins a fight, if he wins, then I'll fight the guy, of course. Luke Rockhold, again, similarly, that fight wasn't close. He got knocked out cold. I think he should fight Weidman because that was scheduled. Obviously, Jacare's there. Jacare, you can't deny him. You really can't. Dan Henderson also, though, for me, is something that I would like to achieve. I owe that guy one, simply because back in the day he was on TRT, which is now, not allowed. So it's either Jacare or Dan Henderson. We'll see what the UFC want to do.
And you've already made very clear where you want that fight to happen. Manchester, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I spoke to Dana and Lorenzo 2 days after my last fight. On the Tuesday they called me and we had a chat. They just called to say congratulations and just to reiterate their sentiments on fight night. They said some very nice things to me. And we briefly talked about a potential next fight. Where would you like to do it? And I said Manchester. That would be amazing. I just beat Anderson in London. To defend the belt in Manchester would be incredible for me.
And being a champion, obviously, it's a different mindset to being a challenger.
Yes.
Throughout your career, and we've spoken a lot in fights leading up. There's always been the end game, which has been that shiny gold thing on the table next to you.
Yep.
You've got that now, and I think your quote was during fight week, that's your life's work, to actually sit there and be able to say, I am a world champion, and you've got that belt.
Yeah.
So what's next for Michael Bisping? What's the next goal for you?
Well, of course, you want to successfully defend the belt. I'm no spring chicken. I'm 37. I'll be 38. Soon, and you can't fight forever. But that said, I'm the champion. I don't intend on walking away now. Of course, now is the biggest paydays I'll ever have come now. So I obviously want to exploit that, but I want to go out on top. So a small number of title defences. Hopefully, successful title defences, and then I'll walk away.
As champion, obviously, doors open.
Yes.
People come out of the woodwork. Phone starts ringing.
Oh my God, you've no idea. That thing is not. I hate this right now. I hate it. It hasn't stopped.
So, who's the biggest? Whether it's a celebrity or a sports star, who's the biggest name who's actually contacted you or reached out to you through the UFC to say congratulations or to offer you an opportunity?
I've been going back and forth with Vin Diesel quite a bit, which is, and we just filmed a movie together, but it's a nice little name drop. Vin's actually a fantastic human being, he really is, and just offering a lot of very, very sound advice. Gordon Ramsay has offered to come and cook me dinner, which is cool. Which, Gordon, if you're watching, come on. There's been a few people. I don't want to sit here name dropping, but it's good. It feels good to have a nice big shiny belt.
And what was the first thing you did? Obviously, once the fight finished, you had to deal with all us lot in the media, and then once you got away, how did you go away and actually celebrate that title?
Well, see, the thing was, I jumped in the car because my wife was at the arena with our car and the kids, and rather than take the bus back to the fighter hotel, I jumped in the car with the children and my wife, and she was like, "Wow, this is weird. Look at this. We're in the car, but we've got the belt, and you're just driving like nothing's ever happened." And I was like, well, yeah, I guess this is the advantage of fighting at home. I say home, where you live. I dropped off my wife and kids, and then I went and joined my team, my manager, my trainers, my coaches, and we celebrated. We had some dinner and we had a couple of drinks, and relived it mentally, throughout the evening. And
tell us a bit about that reception you got back at Fox Sports when you turned up. They did something similar for DC.
They did, yes.
And you walked through the doors, and there you go. You've got all the Fox staff there. They presented you with an
amazing cake. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So obviously, I do quite a lot of work at Fox now, and everybody there, they're fantastic people. And I walked in, and the entire offices were all there. So it's like 3 or 4 different floors, and they were all on the balconies. You couldn't see all of them. There was a lot of people. And of course, there was a cake and balloons and banners, and all over the entire studios. In fact, everywhere I went, there was pictures on the wall that they'd made, saying congratulations. So I was truly touched and very humbled, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible. Kenny Florian gave a speech, and then I had to give a speech. And I'll be honest, for somebody that sits here doing so many of these interviews, I hate being centre of attention. I really do. So I started sweating profusely, and you can see sweat patches on my shirt and stuff. But it was amazing. It really was. I'll never forget that.
And it's a big summer of sport for England. Obviously, you've gone in there and kicked it off perfectly with a world championship, Britain's first world championship. England are in the European Championships. Yep. I know Manchester United. You were at Old Trafford the other day. I know. I think before your fight, they tweeted out a message of support to you. I know after the fight, the England national team, the England football team, they tweeted a message of congratulations to you. How much of a support is that to you, and how big of a football fan are you?
Do you know what, to be honest, I'm kind of ashamed. Not ashamed, it always feels weird because I'm not like a proper bloke, if you will, because, England loves football, and I enjoy football. I've been watching the Euro, but I'm not like a die-hard football guy, and especially now living in America, it's even harder to keep track of. So yeah, listen, I'll sit and watch the game. I'm going to go watch England tonight. Of course I am, but and of course I'm very, very passionate about England winning and the World Cup and the international stuff. Always, follow it. But club level, I am a Manchester United fan, but I can take it or leave it if I'm honest.
And as a British world champion, that puts you right up there in the sporting conversation when you get to the end of the year. We've got things like BBC Sports Personality of the Year, and they like to recognise the achievements of the nation's best in the year of sport. Last year was a bit of a breakthrough for the BBC because they featured Conor McGregor's knockout of Jose Aldo in a little montage, which was a bit of a breakthrough moment. They've not really done that before. Now,
I actually went to the. I got invited by that. I think it was 12th once.
Right.
Yeah, a long time ago, 2008 or 9. I came like 12th or something like that. So they invited me. I was at the event, but obviously didn't win.
How much would it mean to you to just be nominated and put on that shortlist this year? Because you've got to be in with a chance, sure.
It's crazy. So many people have been talking about this to me. I'm talking about people on social media, you know, and it's not really something I'm thinking about, you know. I mean, it's, you know, the BBC don't really cover the sport, so I wouldn't expect it to happen. I really wouldn't. Of course, it would be amazing. It would mean the world to me to get that recognition, but it's not something I won't be putting any money on it happening.
But in terms of the actual recognition side of it, and
yes,
you've been front and centre at pushing this sport in this part of the world. You know, I think Chael Sonnen come out with a quote. Chael Sonnen comes out with stuff, but I don't know.
No, he does, yeah.
But he said, and I haven't had the chance to check this because I only heard it on the train on the way up here. He said that you've main evented more UFC events than any other fighter in UFC history. I don't know whether that's true.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're probably up there.
Yeah, no. I did hear
yeah.
him say that once, and I think I saw a website. Or a website did an article on that, or
Yeah.
sorry, a piece, and I'm not sure. I think I'm tying somebody, yeah.
But I mean, to be someone who's been front and centre pushing the brand over this, especially on this side of the pond,
Sure.
How much would it mean for you to get that wider recognition and have other parts of the media suddenly coming on board, and maybe your title win sort of springboarding the UFC into bigger and better things in the years to come?
Yeah, well, I think any time, well, you know. The UFC is doing well here, but it still needs to get to that next level. And I think, of course, having a UK champion will help that. You know, I'm aware of that. And of course, the more everybody wants to be successful, right? So the more attention you get, media attention, it opens doors and things like that. So that's fantastic. But if I'm honest, it's not why I do this. I do this to take care of my family. So really, I'm not interested in trying to be as like the biggest celebrity I can, because that I couldn't care less about any of that. I just want to get paid and look after my kids, you know, and then leave me alone. The UFC won't leave me alone, but I want to be left alone for 2 goddamn minutes so I can enjoy this. It's nice weather in California right now. I want to lie by the pool, I want to sunbathe, I want to chill with my kids and just relax and enjoy myself. Of course, you know, it comes with a price. I'm not complaining, first world problems, you know, but yeah.
Well, you're going to deserve that rest when you do eventually get it.
Yeah.
At this whirlwind tour. But on behalf of everyone at the Sun, congratulations.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing you defend that belt. Hopefully on this side of the pond. Maybe in Manchester, but we'll find out soon.
Definitely in Manchester. Definitely later in the year. Don't know who the fight's going to be yet. Everybody, Simon and you, of course, the Sun, and all the UFC fans in Britain, thank you very much.